ObjectSpace Localization allows you to apply post-processing effects only to certain objects in your scene, or exclude specific objects from certain effects using custom depth stencils. The custom depth stencils allow you to specify which objects are affected by the post-processing effects, providing even greater control over the final look of your scene. This feature can be especially useful in complex scenes with multiple objects, where you need to fine-tune the post-processing effects to create the desired look. To enable ObjectSpace Localization, go to Project Settings, and search for Custom Depth Stencil Pass. Set it to Enabled with Stencil. Also ensure that the Boolean value of Custom Depth with Temporal AA Jitter is set to True. Otherwise, you might notice random artifacts. Next, select the meshes that you want to apply the post-process on, and search for Render Custom Depth Pass. We need to set this to True. For the custom depth stencil value, you can choose a number between 0 and 255. This is the number that would let you selectively apply a given post-process by matching the corresponding stencil index. Now we will go to our Blendable Material instance to turn on the localization. Here we will set the localization to 1. You see here that only the objects whose custom depth pass was turned on is now getting affected by the post-process. To inverse the effect, you can set the exclude stencil value to 1, which would make the rest of the scene getting affected instead. The stencil value you had chosen for the meshes should lie between the stencil range min and stencil range max for the mesh to be affected by this material instance. You can also set the include stencils in range to false, and instead of choosing a range, you get to select only one value for the stencil index. The parameter occlusion fill allows you to turn off occlusion on the shader when blocked by an opaque object. A value of 0 would mean it is visible from behind an object, as demonstrated here. Let's explore how you can apply two separate blendable materials to two different objects in your scene. To begin, we will add a new material instance to our post-process volume and set the localization to 1. Next, we'll adjust the stencil range max to 250, which is lower than the stencil index of the meshes. By doing so, we can see that the material instance is no longer affecting either of the meshes. If we select one of the meshes and set the stencil index to a number that falls within the specified range, we can see that this mesh is now being affected by the material instance we created earlier. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful.